Welcome back to Beards and Brew. This week's review is going to be Black Hawk Down from 2001, starring just about anyone who doesn't look too dopey with a shaved head.
Man, there's a lot of fucking white people in this.
Yeah, there is.
It's still an all-star fucking cast, though.
Oh, no. Am I, sensing the heartbreak?
There are a lot of names in this. I don't know about all-stars. There are some guys that maybe went on to be all-stars after that. You've got Orlando Bloom in there. You got a little Ewan McGregor. You got some names in there, but
Tom Hardy, Josh Hartnett, Eric Bana, Tom Sizemore, fucking Jamie Lannister is in there.
Jamie Lannister is in it. Yeah. Oh, Tom Hardy is in it. I was like, okay. Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy, Jeremy Piven.
You got Jeremy Piven, I guess.
And to top it all off, this movie is directed by Ridley Alien Scott.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild. This movie came out 2001. I think this is the same year that another movie of his got... Oh, no, never mind. That was Ron Howard's, or he directed Gladiator 2000. Never mind.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But this is based on a little thing that happened over there in the Mogadishu.
Yeah, this is the capital of Somalia in 1992. They are experiencing famine on a biblical sense. Warlords are taking over different areas of the city. The U.S. is sending aid, but it's intercepted a lot.
So Nicolas Cage is just selling them guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The amount of RPGs those fellas had was almost comical.
Yeah. Just one thing, I'm not a military guy. I don't even play the Call of Duties or anything like that. So if I call a weapon something other than what it actually is, you'll have to forgive me for that. RPG, grenade launcher, rocket launcher, I don't know. It's all, shooty weapon.
When they're just running around on the streets, it's either AK or little AK.
That's my street name.
The U.S. firearm and then the enemy firearm.
Yeah. But pretty much we've got this one warlord. His name's Adid. Is that a real person or is that just a name that they made up for the movie?
Assuming that it's based off of a real person, I didn't really study into this. It says it's based on an actual operation that took place because the U.S. needed to send aid over there because the warlords were basically committing genocide and killing off their own people to keep food out of their hands to use starvation as a weapon. And, America, fuck yeah, world police, we're like, we ain't that.
Yeah, from what I gathered, that anything to really do with, the locals and all the, the gangs or whatever, none of that was really researched as well as the rest of the movie, and that was, a huge topic of debate after this movie came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're just well, can't really get permission or talk to anybody about it, let's just movie.
For me, it seemed like everyone in a uniform considered everyone not in a uniform to be a skinny, which was
it's like a Charlie.
Potentially hostile local person.
So that is a way to dehumanize the enemy, therefore you can shoot.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
They aren't people, they are whatever the term would be.
Yeah. In this, it's skinny because they are dying of starvation.
Well, those fellas have some hostages, I think, or whatever, a deal gone wrong or whatever. From what I gathered, they tried to put together this little platoon for a 1 hour excursion just to go get them.
A 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour.
Capture fucking Adid, and they're like, "Hey, we know where he's at. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it in fucking style." Now, this is where the movie really, 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 for me anyways, gets it going. The action scenes for this film, the fucking gun porn for this, you want to talk about guns. The action for this film is fucking amazing, and the soundtrack it's set to is so fun.
I like how the movie tries to almost modernize the Vietnam feel of those old war movies and stuff. They inject some Stevie Ray Vaughan in there or something, a little bit of Elvis, just trying to get the mood going.
Mm-hmm. But they want to keep it modern too, so throw in what are the kids like? Days of the New and Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whenever those songs come on, I was like, no, I don't want to hear that. Go back to Elvis.
I love Stone Temple Pilots, but it seemed really shoehorned in.
I feel like the version we watched in particular was 2.5 hours. Apparently it's a a special cut or whatever that came out. Even though we're only like 30 minutes into the movie, it kind of goes pretty quickly.
We are not even 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, like this is like we're at the part where we're like meeting everybody there at the base. Like that dude just got dropped off.
Yeah,
you know.
Eric Bana has just got back from his successful hog hunt and his ride a bicycle to do recon. They really give you all these main characters, and it's pretty cool because each main character gets probably about 10 minutes of screen time before the shit hits the fan to really get to know them. That way, whenever they inevitably get shot and or killed, you just go, oh no, that guy.
I'm going to disagree with you strongly here. This was one of the things that I found most problematic about the movie, was that when, like, they've got this assortment of characters, there's probably like 10 or 15 of them that you know, but you never get to know any of them. They're all just kind of thrown in there at once, and then the shit takes off like 15 minutes into the movie. It's all middle, and you don't get to attach yourself to anybody.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Like, when things get like really down and dirty, everybody looks the same. I can't remember anybody's name. Except for Grimes, which was Mr. Trainspotting, but, you know. And also Orlando Bloom, bless his heart, he tried to be in this movie.
Like, I remembered Orlando Bloom, Josh Hartnett, Ewan McGregor, everybody else is like white guy that has somewhat of a beard, but like they all look the same. They're all wearing the same uniform, more or less trying to put on the same like maybe Southern accent, even though they're from England or Denmark or wherever.
Boys.
I mean, like, everybody tried except for roughly Tom Hardy. Like, when he started to yell, it was just over.
Like, like everybody is trying I don't know why they didn't cast like actual Americans in this movie, because every fucking person that's supposed to have a Southern accent is from the UK or Australia, or you've got Jamie Lannister who is Danish. What the fuck?
Danishes.
So the thing that I thought was really good and funny though is Tom Sizemore's performance. He is a higher position, maybe a sergeant, platoon sergeant. It's hard to really tell. He's up there, maybe even a commander. I don't fucking know. They yell it out, major, some shit. Anyways, unimportant. He's higher up. And anytime something's going on, all the other troops are like squatted down and they're engaging and things are going on. And somebody's like, hey man, we're getting shot at. He's standing out in the fucking wide open and the bullets are whizzing by. He goes, well, shoot back.
Yeah. You know? That was a really good moment. Very humanizing.
But we do get to know like a few of these characters just a touch. Like they're chilling out on the beach, just, you know, being bros. You got we find out Ewan McGregor is a little bit of a coffee snob, which, you know, I like that. It's all about the grounds.
The military needs their desk guys too. You know, we can't all operate together at once. You know.
You got Jamie Lannister being all about playing Scrabble. I don't know. Like everybody's got like maybe one little thing about him.
Who's that fellow that did like the impersonation of their CEO, and he just got like his shit pushed in immediately?
He's on the fellow who's making the joke about their CO. And he's like, I'm gonna kick your ass, huh? And he's like, huh? And the first excursion out, he's up on the 50, you know, the mounted gun on top of the Humvee, just chun 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 chun, and he gets fucking whacked, shot right through the throat, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I think he's the minus. You know, Orlando Bloom falling to his Orlando doom. I think he's the first casualty.
We got a Black Hawk down. Now, I will say some of the death scenes there are fucking rough.
Oh no, fucking for sure. Like when the gunfire starts, spoilers, a Black Hawk helicopter goes down. Like some Somali dude takes a rocket to the fucking face and he gets turned into a hamburger. I was like, shit.
Yeah, now this mission is supposed to take 30 minutes maximum, right?
Correct.
He says 30-minute maximum. They're supposed to go in, get the like prisoners. They're like the warlord is holding them hostage, and get them out. That's the whole goal. Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah.
Well, they're wanting to abduct, you know, these people of interest. Whatever the, you know, they don't really say whether they're hostages or if, you know, it's people that can give them information about whatever. They're just people of interest. They go in to get them, and immediately, because of the location they're going to, which is called the Bakara Market, it's the place where, you know, if any fucking place here could, in fact, mount a counterattack, it's this spot.
Right.
And they fucking do in full
Says,
force.
Consider everyone out there to be a hostile.
Yeah. I mean, they go as far as just like locking down the city, not in a sense of like just blocking the entrances, but like if they were to get in, all the leading roads that get into the center of town are completely cut off.
Oh yeah, they start making like these makeshift barricades with black smoke, and before the choppers even arrive, they know, like, oh man, we're already fucked. Everything's messed up. And they hit the ground. They go in. The first set of little birds, these choppers, they come in. They do everything perfect, and they're fucking boogieing out. And then one of the Blackhawks is like, "Hey, we got this covered." Nope, no, they don't. Bam! RPG to the tail rotor. That bitch auto rotates right to the ground, and it's time to get things going.
Yeah, and just like a fucking match, this whole movie just goes up. The alert level goes up, everything just gets way more exciting, and the gunfire doesn't fucking stop.
No. It's 30 minutes of dialogue and then a fucking hour and a half of action movie.
I don't even think it ends at the end. It's just like, we get like maybe 15 minutes of them post-fight. Up until then, it's just like chaos.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wrote down the word chaos many times in my notes. Just like, yeah, this is happening. Chaos. All right, some other things. More chaos. That was kind of another thing that I had issue with this movie is you never really get a chance to breathe and assess what's going on. It's just all chaotic. Like, it's supposed to be action, this deep, action-packed movie, or at least that's what I feel like it's supposed to be. But to me, it's just after a little bit, it's like I'm numb to it. Like, I don't know.
It's one of those things where it teeters on, is that how it's supposed to be, or is it kind of like an oversight, Like, is it supposed to beat you over the head like it would like an actual soldier getting like numb to the violence and war? Or is it just actually the dude who won the Academy Award for editing just full of shit?
I thought that it was supposed to be like just mind-numbing because they used Grimesy to kind of show that as he goes throughout this entire battle. He'll go from green Grimesy, to popping his cherry Grimesy to fucking veteran badass Grimesy to fucking squared away Grimesy making coffee with fucking mortar dust all over his face and pieces of glass. And he's just like, fine Arabian roast. And he's ready to kill more fucking baddies.
Yeah, he's got the high ground.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really discuss this movie in a let's go plot point by plot point. So what happens is there's fucking madness where it's just shooty shoot, and then literally a general will show up in a cutaway and go, "Our boys are taking a beating. I can't believe they're taking a beating. What needs to happen are these three things," and then we'll cut back to the troops trying to do those three things and failing.
Yeah, it totally feels like a modern warfare campaign. Like, it's just like shoot, objective. And it's just like thanks, Captain Cutscene, and you do it again for the next level.
Yeah. So we got Orlando Bloom falling out of the helicopter because he's a dumbass and let go of the rope, right? We got the Humvees moving in. We got that plot point. I'm not sure exactly where we are. We got the first time that Grimes narrowly avoids getting hit in the head with a rocket.
Yeah,
that happens a couple more times.
Lives that life of RPG bait. Mm-hmm. And they fucking set it up every time, because the first time they're like, "Grimesy, don't do that." Boom! And he's like, "Grimesy, get away from that wall." Boom! "Hey, Grimesy, maybe you should get around the corner." "Okay." Boom! "You okay?" "Yeah!" Just comes walking around the corner like, "Yeah, okay, I'm still alive, man, let's do it."
And we covered the first time that, sorry for spoilers, but the first time that a Black Hawk helicopter goes down. And Josh Hartnett's crew is supposed to go to the helicopter and I guess retrieve, if there's survivors or supplies.
Yeah, they got to get any of the survivors and then demo the leftover chopper bits so no one can get anything out of it.
And that sounds simple enough. Just like, direct objective, but when the movie just returns to the battle on the ground, holy shit, it just feels like a clusterfuck.
Yeah, 100%. So the idea of that whole it returns to this clusterfuck is these guys are supposed to be doing, objective A. Go in, get these people, escort the Humvees out, done and done, sip of tea and you're good to go. These guys didn't even prepare because they were so cocksure that they're going to get this done. Well, the problem was they went in, things immediately turned sideways. And that's the whole thing of the story. And like from plot point to plot point, I don't really, see why we would need to pick them apart.
It's kind of tough since it's also like based on an actual event. You're basically just like rattling off a timeline at that point.
Yeah, and we do get a timeline throughout the movie. Like we start out at like 2 in the afternoon? No, it wouldn't be 2 in the afternoon. We start out at a time and we end up like a whole day later.
3:42 p.m. These fellas land their little chopper on top of one of the roofs. So that's mission go. That is Irene.
Okay, so almost an entire day later, we're wrapping up the story. This is one day in the life of what's going on here in Somalia.
Yeah, we get to just basically follow the Delta Squad, or Delta Force, and the Army Rangers as they push in and try to do this objective. And it's cool to watch, and it's really neat to see how things fall apart. It just feels more legitimate in the sense of there's things going on that you would see on a real battlefield that most movies don't really cover. Like, okay, there's friendly fire, but he doesn't hit the guy, but he's like, oh, what the fuck? And then there's no like, oh, sorry, man, it was just, it is what it is.
Well, that's one thing I have to give the movie. Like, even though watching it, I wasn't having the best of time, I was having a hard time focusing. I have to give it credit because this movie was produced and filmed in 2000, but it feels like a war movie made post 9/11.
In more way. I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, I was going to ask that too.
War movies about the modern wars just have that like modern warfare feel. Like, it's just that tan tinted. You have that like Middle Eastern music blaring and stuff for the action movies. Very quick cutty, not quite like Jason Bourne, but it's almost like a Middle Eastern music video sometimes with gunfire.
Okay, no, I can understand that because, like I said earlier, one of my favorite things about this is the soundtrack. I actually downloaded the soundtrack to listen to. I fucking have listened to this soundtrack for years.
Yeah, it totally sets the scene for everything. Even though I was just like visually not really compelled sometimes because so much is going on, the music is pretty banging.
There's some songs on there that I listen to pretty frequently. Like I said, the Stone Temple Pilots. You got the Stevie Ray Vaughan. I liked that quite a bit. Days of the New. There's a handful of other songs too, but I didn't really care for them necessarily in the context of a movie. I did like like you mentioned, the Middle Eastern style music. I liked that. It seemed like it fit the vibe pretty well with what was going on, but a lot of the more modern tunes seemed more out of place than anything.
I agree. I think that if you took this movie, and you just turned it into a first-person shooter that people got to play, people would just shit their pants. I mean, there's a literal crash scene that I'm pretty sure, if not 100% sure, that the crash level from Call of Duty is modeled off of it.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
To watch this is like watching, like, if this was just... Have you guys seen that movie, Hardcore Henry? It's like everything's first. Yeah,
I have not.
If they did that with this movie, you'd be like, oh, this is fucking crazy. I think it could have worked very well that way. Some of my negative takeaways for this, especially like trying to just keep track, like you guys said, of who's who. Like, there's a character that gets killed, and there's another character who almost dies that look fucking identical. And
no, I know exactly who you're talking about because I was like, oh, I guess that guy didn't die. and then at the very end, you've got Josh Hartnett going over there like talking to his corpse, and I'm like, wait, what? Wasn't that guy just alive?
Yeah, it was very confusing because he gets shot in the femoral artery, and they're like, oh man, we can't get it. And there's like this very dramatic scene of them trying to revive him, and that's one thing that they do get across in this movie very well is the camaraderie of these people together, and you're like, okay, yeah, I can see this. I don't understand how a movie with this big of a cast and these many people still couldn't get that same level of camaraderie as fucking 6 dudes in Predator.
Well, see, that's it right there. There's only 6 dudes. Like, even in Alien, there's like 8. And like a nice little group of people, things you can remember and personalities that you can grip onto. I'm just reading stuff about it right now. Apparently, it's based on a book, which is based on the true events, but they had to condense 100 main characters into what was in the movie, roughly like 60 or something. There's just way too much fucking going on, but also way too many people to keep track of.
Yeah.
Well, they try to that down by the end with having like one major face from each unit.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like Call of Duty, you're the one guy in the one unit spread across 3 different campaigns.
Let's go. You
Yeah.
just run.
And
So,
thanks, Jason
don't
Statham.
him now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
To make it more easy for us, eventually some of these main characters or characters that we know start dying off. Like, at some point, we don't have to worry about Orlando Bloom. We don't have to worry about Jeremy
Wait.
Piven.
Sometime we don't have to worry about Orlando Bloom. Immediately, we don't have to worry about
Well,
Orlando
no, that's
Bloom.
why I started off. You don't have to worry about Orlando Bloom and his atrocious Southern accent.
Look, he just had 10
God.
minutes to spare between Lord of the Ring movies, and that's what happened.
I guess so.
They were like, he's still got a shaved head. He wears a wig all day. Just do it.
Jeremy Piven drops out pretty early. Some of these other guys, I don't know their names, but yeah, eventually we get it down to just only 10 or 15 guys.
That absolute unit.
Absolutely.
There's some really fucking cool night vision scenes. There's some neat like we got a revenge on the bad guy scenes. It's
Yeah.
really hard to talk about a war movie in the sense of let me pick it apart, this, that, and the other. It's hard to see any flaws in this because it's just a special effects gun porn. That's all it is. You're just watching as things explode and people get shot. In that sense, it's entertaining. You'll definitely stay busy with things blowing up and being shot at.
Yeah, just to extend your point, like this is like super thin plot, but it's not really the fault of the writers. It's just because they had to interlink all these like timeline points with like fucking cutthroat action.
Yeah, it's just 3:45, boots on the ground, 5:00 whatever. Shit has gone sideways and we're redeploying. 5:45 a.m. We're getting chased out of town because we survived long enough just to get picked up by armor. That was it. Like when you think about how fucking qualified these men are to do something so difficult and how bad it went so quickly.
It went bad real quick.
It's like immediately broken arrow or whatever it's called.
To think about, we got trapped in here for 12, 14 hours, something like that.
Mhm.
We were going to be gone for 30 minutes. It turned into, a fucking 14-hour event. That's nuts. And to think that people lived that to go, hey man, we're going to be gone for 30 minutes. 14 hours later, and God only knows how many bullets being shot at you, how many RPGs. You're literally being chased out of town. You didn't accomplish shit.
Yeah,
You
no,
went
they didn't. They had a couple of goals, and they didn't really accomplish any of them.
No,
No.
not at all. I mean, with a movie this big of scope, scrunched into 2.5 hours, I kind of wish this was like a mini series or something like that, because there's so
Whoa.
much information that I feel like could be there, and there's so many people that I feel like that episodic nature would just do it wonders.
like a
You're probably right. Like, I think this would be a lot better as a mini series where we could really get to know the characters a little bit more. We could spread out that 2.5 hours that's supposed to happen in real life to a little bit longer than 10 minutes.
Because, man, you know who I was interested in? A couple of those villains. Like, the first bad guy they captured by shooting the engine block in the Jeep. That's just like, I'm a businessman. He's basically a Lord of Lore character.
Yeah.
But he's fucking intriguing, and he's gone immediately. And then you get the other warlord fellow that ends up getting blown up on an RPG. The guy who's like the attacking man who's always being violent. He seems really neat. Let me get some time with him. But if he shows up, he's just like, "Rawr, here I am." Tucka.
Yeah.
And
It's
correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't meet the main warlord, 8, whatever his name is. We didn't meet him at all, did we?
Nope, not at all.
no.
I did. Like, yeah, he's not in the movie whatsoever.
Well, there's a lot of okay. This movie I feel suffers from. It's going to be like heresy to some people, especially since it's a true event. It's a very sensitive thing to a lot of people, I'm sure.
Right.
But I feel like this could have been more of a movie than like a recounting of events. Like it should have been a little bit more fiction, a little bit, because like a movie has its own way of telling a story. Has a certain
100%.
thing, and just verbatim, just showing us what happened as best they could, still making it entertaining. It kind of feels like sometimes like a B-roll to like one of those behind-the-scene war recount, like where they have the soldiers sitting down asking them questions and they do the flashback. That's what I see.
Oh shit! Yeah, that you would see on like the History Channel or something.
Yeah, Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
you
dude.
know,
Fucking call.
like this week is Desert Storm week, and this is what we see.
That's a good fucking call.
So like it's kind of weird to say because like if you watch a movie based on a true event, you want it to be close because it's an endearing story. They made a movie about it, but it would definitely help to lean towards the narrative side than the historical side.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree
'cause-
100% on that. Like, if it was a little bit more, let's say if the script was a little bit more made as a movie than made as a historical event, it might be a little bit more captivating, a little bit more enthralling for people that don't just care about, gun porn. Because I'll tell you, I'll go ahead and spoil this for you. I didn't care for this movie at all. Um, Not one bit.
It's I remember seeing this movie quite young, and I remember some things that still linger, but I just didn't remember just how much was fucking thrown at you.
Now, I have never watched this 2-hour, 40-minute version. This was long in the sense of I've watched the 2-hour, 9-minute version. So that's, 31 minutes less gun porn. And
No,
don't
the
get me
one
wrong.
I had was 223.
223? Okay.
223.
Yeah.
Still about 20 some minutes less, but it's got so much extra shit of just sitting waiting to build an intense feel, or this, okay, there's a drawn out firefight that's literally drawn out and you feel them fire 2 shots and he fires 2 shots back, then they fire 2 shots and he fires 2 shots back, and that goes on for 7 minutes in the film. And I get it, but I don't need to really see it because I don't feel that intensity. Like, it's not the movie's fault. That I think had it been shortened, it would have felt more intense, because having it drawn out like that and then cutting to fucking all out chaos again, you kind of get lost in how you're supposed to feel. Am I panicked? Am I suspenseful?
Like, the scenes that I definitely grasped onto more were the scenes when they were sort of just hunkered down, interacting with each other, and not just in the middle of chaos. Like, one of my favorite scenes is there, maybe not toward the end, but maybe an hour and a half in, when Grimesy, Ewan McGregor's character, is sitting there, like you mentioned, like covered in mortar dust and just like trying to hunker down, and he's the coffee guy. He's gonna make the guys some coffee, or whoever he's with. It might not even have been more than one guy.
I have to agree with both of you. The first point, the movie flip-flops in tone a little too much, especially towards the end, where we go from like this fucking ridiculous gunfight to a moment of like this grandpa holding his dead kid, like going across the street. Then suddenly it's a slow motion heroic run to the finish line. Oh my god! Then we get to the finish line. Oh my goodness, everybody's dead or dying. Oh no, the heartstrings.
The fresh water.
Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard. Like I'm sure they had like cool stuff like that happen, but it was definitely jarring.
Yeah, and like Chandler said, he liked the scenes where they hunker down. I liked the scenes where something brutally violent was happening, but it made sense. Like whenever the helicopter pilot was trying to survive and he's sitting there using every fucking round he has to stay up, and he's just getting shot from every fucking angle, and every time he gets shot he like curls into a ball a little bit more because of the pain, and then by the end of it he's almost fetal position trying to shoot until he just kind of like gives up. And to me, whenever I saw that scene, I was like, fuck.
Now, is he the one that ends up getting captured?
No, that's the other guy who just gets waylaid in the fucking head with that AK.
Yeah.
Okay, the other helicopter pilot that, gets stranded and... Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, the gentleman that was taken as a POW was like one of my biggest issues, because like, okay, yeah, true event, and they didn't get him back, like, during the operation.
I was wondering if I just missed something.
No, like, I was confused because I even asked Jess, like, did I fucking miss something? Because they were already at the end of the thing at the soccer field. I was like, that dude's still missing, right? I was like, okay, whatever. Credits start to roll, and the rest of his story is just explained with, like, one little line of dialogue.
We got him back 11 days later. He was tortured and beaten.
No.
Oh, they got him
was
back?
Was it chewed? No, just beaten.
Swallowed! But... All right, I'm going to go ahead and crack this open because I don't really know of any other opening.
Do you think, sir?
I've got something here that Grimesy, is that his name?
Grimesy,
yeah. Grimes would enjoy. What I've got here is from Modern Times. This is a local, I want to say, San Diego brewery. Yep, San Diego. This is called the Black House. It's a coffee stout.
Now, I've only ever had one coffee beer, and I'm sure you've already had it too, and you probably know what I'm talking about. This is the Big Timber.
Uh, which Big Ten? I don't really. I've had.
It's a coffee stout.
They just call it coffee stout. I might have had that. I don't remember.
Well, I was gonna say that's the only one I've had, and it tastes more like a coffee than it does a beer. But I don't like coffee anyway, so.
Oh, I love coffee. I'm pouring it into a coffee mug because that's just what I had handy.
Have you stuck your finger into it? It'll kill the foam.
Just finger in the head.
There you go.
All the way from San Diego.
I like Eggos.
I was gonna say Eggos. Yeah.
I don't want them to be sandy though.
Nah, sand sucks.
Yeah, it's gritty and coarse and gets everywhere.
Some memes.
Yeah, I don't think I've even seen that movie. Which one was that? The first one? The third one? I don't know.
Attack of the Clones 2.
2? Okay, I have seen that.
It was a big number 2, that's for sure.
Just the background was fucking phenomenal.
All right, so this beer, honestly, it's really, I'll say, well balanced. A lot of coffee stouts go really either head forward with the coffee flavor, or it's just like a stout with a little bit. This is really balanced in between to where you can taste the coffee, but it's not overwhelming. It's not just coffee flavor. There's, that roasted barley in there too. You even have a little bit of hop bitterness that doesn't feel out of place at all. It's really very good. This is a good coffee stout. Maybe one of the best that I've ever had.
I feel so uneducated in coffee stouts. The only coffee beer that comes to mind is Buzz Beer from the Drew Carey Show.
Well, I'm sure there's probably something available for you up there in the Great White North. Anyway.
Back to Black Hawk Down. We're on the ground, fellas.
We are. Go ahead,
speaking of that, we also glossed over the thing where there are actually 2 Black Hawk helicopters got shot down.
Yeah, we got a second Black Hawk. I think that was a page or so back in my notes. We're kind of hopping all over the place, and that's fine. I have 12 pages of notes on this.
It's okay. I mean, this episode will be edited by the same guy who did this movie. Just all over the place.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, another Black Hawk went down. And then just immediately, this crash site gets just surrounded by hostiles, or what they're calling hostiles, just like local dudes.
I think the pilot of that particular one, the second helicopter, even called in a request like, "Hey, can we land here and just kind of defend the area?" He's like, "Yeah, you sure you can do that? You can do that." And he's like, "Yeah, crash. Yeah, I can't do this."
Yeah.
They're not okay. And then another chopper's like, "Hey, we'll help him." They're like, "No, you ain't."
Yeah.
So what can you do? You can let the boys in your chopper go down there and get all shot up. That sounds great. Let's do it.
But we can't risk another bird.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, I feel like the people who were giving orders to that particular helicopter had nothing to do with that one gentleman who was over the whole shebang, just like seeing everything just fucking turn into a dumpster fire and get worse.
And that's something else that I think that this movie does a few things to me well. It shows how sideways things can go, especially for, the most elite trained soldiers on the planet. The ineptness of, your higher ups sometimes. Your boss cannot have a fucking clue what's going on and be trying to tell you what to do. And you're like, no, this is a bad idea, but okay, sure. And again, that camaraderie, you get to see that get built a little bit. And especially by the end of it, that core group that we discussed, they're very like, okay, this is how shit has to be. We're bros for life. Let's do it. I think had they just stuck with those 5, like put them all in the same fucking unit, let's just follow this one unit, I think it would have functioned a bit better.
Yeah. It's 100% nail on the head, because like things got so crazy for me. I kept being surprised that Pearl Harbor guy was still in the movie. I was like, oh yeah, that guy.
Josh Hartnett.
Yeah, he was like one of those dudes that were just like really popular in the 90s with those cheesy horror movies.
Yeah, what was the one? The Faculty, yeah.
And Idle Hands, Final Destination.
I don't think he was in Idle Hands. That was
oh, that's the Siwa guy.
Yeah,
oh
Devin
no.
Siwa.
Devin Super Savasa.
I had something else I was going to throw onto that. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, I was just thinking about that. How he had to shoot that lady. He's like, ah, man, don't pick up that rifle. Man, she picked up that rifle.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it. She doed it.
Oh, and then you've got the one little situation where we have like the one guy who's trying to like give cover, and you've got the other guy who's like, "Don't you shoot that thing near my ear. My head's already ringing." And then he shoots the thing, and then he's just like deaf for the rest of the movie.
Oh, that was what's his name? Willem Fichtner.
No. Uh,
Was it?
no, I recognize him because he was in Go, which we saw, I guess, a couple of months ago now. But no, I recognize him. I don't recognize any of the two guys that.
Oh man. Well, he's in the movie. Who does he play?
He plays like one of the, I don't know. He's like a commander or something.
Shit, I thought that one dude that went deaf was him because I was like, oh man, that's the fucking Drive Angry guy.
No, it's the other funny-looking white dude with no chin. Oh, it's another guy from Trainspotting, Ewan Bremer. There's two guys in this movie from Scotland named Ewan. What the fuck?
I said you and me.
Yeah. And like none of these guys can do a fucking Southern accent. Why didn't they just get? I mean, I covered this before, but like you've got one. Okay, I'll say there's like two total non-Americans in here that do like solid American accents. Ewan McGregor is, I feel like, totally fine. He doesn't try anything too crazy. But the other guy, he is actually Slovenian, and I know him as the Canadian in Bruges. He's like a helicopter, I want to say co-pilot or something like that. Anyway, he does a fine job, but everybody else is just like, I'm either going to go over the top Southern, but no specific Southern area, or I'm just going to like half-assedly try and cover up my English-Scottish accent.
I like how there's three people who have like, pretty good regional dialects, and everybody else is just from Texas with a question mark.
Yeah. It's like Texas, Georgia?
Now, one of my two favorite things in this, like I said earlier, my first one, Tom Sizemore, just giving zero fucks, not caring. Even when he gets shot, he's like, "Oh God damn it, he got shot in the neck."
Well, that's because he's a natural born killer.
Yeah, you know it, Scagnetti on Scagnetti.
Oh, that's him. Okay.
But
sorry, go on.
There was another character, and I'm hoping someone else saw him and was very happy about it. Mr. Richard Tyson, the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop.
What?
Richard Tyson.
Yep, he was in this film. He was a prominent role shooting that gun.
Oh, that the fucking like he looks like a Kmart John Travolta.
No. Like I don't think I spotted him the whole time. I was thinking like, man, is that Draco Malfoy's dad?
The guy that I kept like, I was looking through IMDb credits. I was like, he's got to be under like a different name or something. The original like the taxi driver guy who was like, yeah, he's in a building up there a block or two ahead, but if I go down there, they're gonna shoot me. That guy,
yeah.
Dude looks like Gary Payton, like former point guard for the Seattle Supersonics. The glove, Gary Payton, looks just fucking like him. Evidently, it's not him, but it looks exactly fucking like him.
Ah, no glove, no love.
No.
Oh, bad guy from Kindergarten Cop. But the movie goes on. There's more.
The movie does go on. It straight up goes on.
There's the convoy finally comes back after some of these names are killed, and they come back with Pakistani armor that a whole fucking convoy had to go and get. It comes back at like 5 a.m. to pick the boys up and to help them cut out the remaining pilot from the second downed Black Hawk after they've already demoed the first. They get them out of there. They're kind of chased out of town uncelebratoriously. There's not a victory. Nothing in this is happy at all.
No. Like at the end, you see them go out of town. This is what, like you said, 5:30 in the morning. They pass by like, just dudes on their way to work or whatever, and you see like a handful of people. I think they're cheering. I don't really know why. Like local folks like cheering, I guess, that they're leaving.
Well, no. There's the ones who are chasing them out of town.
Uh-huh.
And then when they cross that Pakistani border, they're running into what would be considered friendlies. So they're being welcomed.
Pakistani border?
That's what they say. They keep saying Pakistani armies over there or some shit.
Well,
They're
there's...
in Africa.
Yeah, this is Somalia. This is nowhere near Pakistan.
Well, there's like a border that they're crossing to go to that stadium full of Pakistani soldiers.
Yeah, there's a Pakistani-held stadium.
There we
which
go.
I don't understand really. I don't know. I don't understand a whole lot about this, especially the relationship with Pakistan in this movie.
No clue, man.
Yeah.
I'm not up to current or not so current events.
Yeah, this movie doesn't do a terribly great job of explaining really how they got in the situation and how they got out of it. As far as we know, there was a situation.
This
There was a
movie
situation.
isn't bad, like in the sense of it's made poorly. Its biggest flaw is it feels like you were flipping the channel, and then as you were flipping the channel, you saw a war movie on, and we're like, "Oh, what's this?" and just started watching it.
War.
Yeah, and then it went off, and you're like, "Huh," you know, like
What happened in the movie?
I don't know. I was flipping channels and saw people shooting, so I watched it.
Yeah, it's almost like 3 different channels showing the same movie, but they're all at different times, so you just keep going back and forth.
Oh man.
All right. So for the sake of, I don't know, giving a fair run of the events of this movie, guys go in to, I guess, take these prisoners. They get trapped there. They want to get, some support in. Support gets shot down. They need more support. More people get in this group get shot. Chaos ensues. Eventually, at 5 a.m., their support finally comes in to get them. And I don't even know, did they get very many of the prisoners that they were originally going in to get? Did they get... Because I know a lot of them got shot.
They got evac because when that gentleman got captured out of the helicopter, the bad guy even says, "Hey, you have my hostages and I have you."
Okay, so... All right, so... One guy gets captured, a bunch of guys get shot. Eventually, they work their way out of everything, and, nothing really has changed.
Nope. And after the movie ends, we get like a mid-credits posthumous scene of the 19 U.S. soldiers who actually died in this operation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Approximately 1,000 Somalis were killed, 19 American soldiers.
That KD is wild.
Yeah, it is.
It's the difference between handing just some guy working in a stall market versus a guy that you spent thousands of dollars teaching how to shoot that gun.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a back and forth here. How come they're not hitting anything? This is why movies suck. Quote someone who was sitting beside me. It's like the soldiers on the ground have been trained for God knows how long how to operate their weapon, and also that's Chad from the meat market with an AK down the street.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He's how do I load it? You do this. Oh man, it's like fucking Enemy at the Gates. When the man with the rifle gets shot, you pick up the rifle.
Oh my God, Owen Wilson, no.
Wow. But in the little dialogue that they do have between the captured and the capturee, I guess you do get a little bit of insight from their point of view. It's like whenever Adid goes down, whenever he gets captured, he said, "Do you think we're going to just give up our guns and stop shooting?" No, like...
Well, I mean, he had that second of maybe. This is a trick question.
Yeah, this is life around here.
But he does have like some good lines, like I do know a thing of history. What happens today is merely shaping tomorrow. He goes, This is how it is here. Go home. This isn't your war.
Yeah, and that's super, super prophetic. Very nice to hear. But this entire fucking scene doesn't need to be here. It's like none of it's resolved, like we mentioned earlier. Like that soldier in particular, that gentleman, wasn't even rescued for like almost another 2 weeks.
I will take much more of scenes like that than, just another 15 minutes of chaotic boom, 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 Give me more of that, even if it's unresolved. And it's not because I don't like war movies. One of my favorite movies of all time, Apocalypse Now, is a war movie, but dialogue is a real big part of what I like as a movie, or what I like in a movie, regardless of its genre. And something like Apocalypse Now or Full Metal Jacket, something like that, just has way more dialogue stylism. Like, if you were to just sit down and watch this movie and I made you guess who directed this, no one would ever guess that this was a Ridley Scott movie, just because there's no style to it. It's just all meat and potatoes. I need a little bit more than that on my plate.
I like the boom boom.
It's not my thing at all.
Well, that was Black Hawk Down from 2001, directed by Ridley Scott. If you have any feelings about the podcast or the movie itself, leave it in the comment section below.
Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure to hit that little bell icon too, so you know next time we've got another one of these brewing.
Get out there and follow us on all of our different social media accounts. We get that Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. So get out there and check it out. Or we'll, take a 30-minute mission and stretch it into a 15-hour ordeal where nothing gets resolved.
No, Nobody wants to sign up for that? No? All right.
Well, we'll take the time to ask if you want to be a farmer, and we're going to give you a couple acres.